Here we are. We're back. Strut Report, Week 3. Tony Merrill.
Sean Cook.
Blake Show.
Thanks for joining us again for another week of turkey hunting talk and updates on the details of what everybody's been seeing out there. And I know a few of us got out in the woods here in Georgia last weekend, and we actually struck out. We heard some gobbles and things.
A lot of gobbling, but no birds.
Yeah.
Birds. They were tough.
Yeah, but if you looked on what the comments were throughout the week, there were some other folks that had a little bit different story in really a similar area that we were at. So there's been some birds going down this week, and we're going to kind of summarize, as we've been doing the last couple weeks, what we've been seeing come through on the page on the Strut Report. We appreciate everyone that's been getting engaged and involved, and we're going to continue to do this throughout turkey season. And we're really looking forward to seeing what everybody starts submitting once even more of the country starts opening up for turkey season.
Yeah, absolutely.
So with that, why don't we get started with the Southwest region. Blake, why don't you take us through that a little bit?
Yeah, so last week I challenged the Southwest to
Step
get
it up.
us some feedback.
Yeah.
We hadn't heard anything from them guys, and challenge accepted. The Solis family down in Texas came up and dropped 3 birds last week that they posted in pictures and everything else. So congratulations to Javier, Jose, and Robert, all killing birds last week in
Do we want to
Texas.
show some pictures of that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I believe we have a couple of pictures in here. If one of you guys want to grab the phone and bring it up close so we can see these pictures. Okay. Got our behind-the-scenes team helping us out with the camera angles and everything. Here's Javier and Jose down in Texas. Those guys got themselves a couple of birds. We know Carl Drake last week told us that he had some success in Texas as well. So it's good to see that those Rios are down there responding to calls. And
Robert's on there too.
Yep. And here's Robert, part of the same family. So congratulations to the Solis family. Sounds like you guys are getting it done out there.
Mountain West and Northwest.
Guys, got to step it up. And we understand turkey season might be a little ways off for you, but as we talked about last week, even though we may not have scouted like we should have this year, we sure hope that you guys can get out there and do that, because that's just going to help your turkey hunting just that much more when turkey season does get here.
Yeah, and this is a great time to point out the fact that it's not just about in-season kills and things like that, but we've got our season-long competition going on between the regions. So whatever region has the most posts at the end of the year, we're going to get up another fully loaded chest pack out to you for next year.
That's right, and we'll go over kind of how everything's sitting right now towards the end of the video here. But Mountain West and Northwest, they need to kick it in gear a little bit, don't they?
So my weekly challenge moves from the Southwest,
Mountain West.
West a little bit further now. So those mountain guys and the Northwest corner up in Oregon and Washington start telling us what's going on.
And maybe once that season starts to kick off, we'll start hearing more from those guys.
I sure think so.
Yeah.
Yep. Cool. Well, why don't you take us on through to the Mideast there, Blake?
Absolutely. The Southeast, you mean?
No, we'll go to the Mideast first, and then we'll end with the Southeast, because there's so much to talk about.
All right, sounds good. So up in the Mideast, there some birds are gobbling, things like that, but up in that northern hemisphere, we still got about a month to open. So the birds are getting vocal out there. I think the weather's starting to warm up, so you're going to start seeing birds out there. Whether they're still within the flock starting to strut or breaking apart. The next month, I think you're really going to start seeing the activity.
Get out there, listen, and see if they're gobbling, and tell us what you hear.
Yep.
Cool. Well, moving on. Like I said, we're gonna end it with the Southeast, because we had so much engagement with that. Because that's really where a lot of the states that are opening are at, in the Southeast, and like we said, it'll continue to kind of spread throughout the country. But next up, we'll talk about the Great Lakes in the Midwest region. So. Some folks that commented throughout the week from Wisconsin, they said, there's a lot of hens around with a few strutting toms. So having a lot of hens around can make it a little bit tough on the calling side, because you got the real thing there. But seeing some strutting toms out there this time of year when it's still March, that's a good sign, because by the time season opens, you're going to have a lot more strutting activity. So anytime you can get out there and scout and just see what birds are around.
Rob Rittenauer said they're gobbling in Pennsylvania, so
rock and roll. Awesome. Goblin, Pennsylvania, that's just going to keep spreading north from there. And so
with this warm weather pushing through, I think you're going to be starting hearing them up there.
That's right. And I think we started seeing a lot more areas saying that there was goblin going on this week. And that definitely, I think, has to do with the warm weather that we've had over the last week or so.
Yeah, I would say the increased bud activity in the trees down here is proof to that.
That's right.
We've been getting a lot of rain in the evening and night, but it's in the 80s during the day. So
that's right. So moving on through in the Midwest area, southern Missouri, we've got a couple of our field staffers down in that area. So Heath Wood, which many of you may know, that is a great friend of ours. He's been doing a lot of scouting leading up to when his season starts in Missouri. He said he's hearing birds gobbling early, really well, actually both in mornings and evenings, so that's a great sign. Youth season in Missouri starts April 8th and 9th, so I know Heath likes to get out there and hunt with some youth hunters, so good luck there, Heath. Appreciate the update. And also Jake Hinman, he's in southeast Missouri. The other day he saw a strutter with 4 hens, actually this past Monday morning on the edge of a green field. It said it was a little bit rainy, but the birds are still doing their thing. So warm weather and actually rain can be good, because it gets in the soil and makes it soft, and the birds like to get out and peck around for worms and things.
We got a message for Blake.
What we got?
Brett Bolson said, Blake, hometown is Thunder Goblin.
So Brett, I appreciate you watching and tuning in with us. Brett's referring to the Midwest, Northeast Iowa. They got a little under a month till season opens up, a couple weeks, I think the middle of April.
Yeah.
I know some of us are planning a trip up there to see what we can do, so it's good to hear that the birds are moving up in Iowa.
Awesome. I think April 17th is opening day up there, so that'll be a good time once that does finally open up. So closing out Missouri there, a couple of field staff guys giving us some reports. Appreciate that. We actually had some great engagement in the Midwest, because we got Kansas to talk about as well. Sounds like birds are strutting and gobbling a lot. That season opens on April 12th, so real positive there. Just got to wait it out till season starts. And on over to Ohio to close out the Great Lakes and Midwest region. Sort of have a mixture of situations going on. Some areas have birds in large flocks of up to 100 birds with some breeding occurring. So when you see those large flocks, that's really still sort of a winter situation. So it sounds like they're flocked up a little bit in that specific piece.
Dean Widman is saying in parts of Ohio and Indiana, he's seeing strutting and gobbling right now. So
there you go. So like I said, maybe as this week has moved on, things have warmed up a little bit. Yeah. Things have progressed a little bit more.
Started pushing them into there.
Because we did have other folks from Ohio tell us throughout the week that they're seeing birds broken up into same-sex groups and a little bit of gobbling going on. So folks in Ohio, sounds like things are headed in the right track for you.
Right. So a couple weeks, up in those northern regions before season opens, I think don't wait till last minute. Maybe we get into preseason prep before that last week. Tony's got some items here that are in the HS strut line. Maybe you want to run through those quick, Tony?
Sure. Yeah. Let's kind of take a break from going through all these reports and just kind of. I felt like it was important to talk about what do you do leading up to turkey season. Maybe you're a new hunter and you sit and you're hearing us say get out, scout, and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, scouting is great. Seeing where turkeys are at, how they're responding. But another thing is making sure you have the proper equipment to be out there and harvest a bird. And Sean, these choke tubes, you've seen these before.
Yes.
Do you use these on your gun?
Absolutely, and this will help concentrate your load and make sure that you're shooting, a correct group here.
Yeah. So our Undertaker chokes. I mean, we've had these in the line for a lot of years, and 12 gauge and 20 gauge. We've got really anything for you depending on what kind of gun you've got. A bunch of different models. It's an extra full choke. We actually have a choke tube chart in our catalog and on our website that you can use to figure out what the proper model is for your gun. So
Whether you want extended or smooth flush bound,
Right.
high density or steel or lead,
Right.
there's a large line of choke tubes that HS Strut offers.
that's right. And the reason you use a choke tube for turkey hunting is, a turkey is a little bit harder to kill than, say a rabbit or a pheasant or something like that. You really need to have a lot of force to take down that turkey. Now, it's not saying it can't be done with a standard barrel with a lesser choke, but having a choke tube and having that concentrated pattern just increases the odds of you actually having a lethal shot on that bird in the area that you're aiming for.
Absolutely.
Jason Young in South Central PA just commented that he saw 4 Jakes and 2 Toms working out the old pecking order. So they were out there fighting and going at each other pretty good. So it's heating up for sure.
That provides some good entertainment too. Just sit and watch. That's a good time.
Sounds like that Mid-East and Great Lakes area is really starting to heat up and start the season.
That's right. So if season's coming up here in a couple weeks, go out, spend a little bit of range time in the field. Get a choke tube in your gun and just try some different loads and see how they shoot, because every load is going to shoot differently. One load may work great for one guy in his gun, but a different gun it may shoot completely different. So, just get out there and go through a couple of these turkey targets here and see how it shoots and make sure you're dialed in and ready to go.
Buddy of mine, Mike Coons, just joined watching. I know he's headed out with a group of them to Kansas, and every year they stack up some birds out there. So
Awesome.
we'll see some birds go down once those guys hit.
Well, hopefully he'll post some pictures on there and tell us how it went.
He will.
That's right. Looking forward to seeing it.
Yeah.
So with that, why don't we continue on and we'll get started in the southeast region. Sean, you're from native Alabama. So
Yes,
why
I
don't you kick it
am.
off
And
for
this
us?
area is where we've, the season's already underway. Everyone's kind of gotten out there, and we've gotten a lot of feedback from these guys. So we're going to start with the West Virginia area, heading down south. And West Virginia says they're seeing lots of turkeys in the fields. HS field staffer, Jeremy Myers, is seeing strutters everywhere. So it sounds like West Virginia is, really starting to heat up. On down to the Kentucky area, season starts there April 15th. So, you still got about another, 2 weeks, 3 weeks on the way. And said birds are fired up. HS field staffer Brad Biddle, longtime friend, is seeing lots of strutting and gobbling in the central part of the state. Seems to be seeing gobblers in every field,
Keeney just checked in, said it's pretty quiet in North Georgia this morning.
Oh, buddy Sean Keeney's out there hunting in public lands. It can be tough, but it can be done. We actually had a couple of guys tell us that we'll find out here later on they had some success this past week.
Blake, you want to take us on down to Arkansas, Louisiana, that area?
Yeah, absolutely. So, the verdict that I've seen coming this week from Arkansas, Louisiana, and Mississippi is the birds are really vocal in the roost jet early in the morning, and then once they come down, it's hard to kind of track them once they're down until they get into the field and visual. Some feedback is it's been maybe because of the warm winter we had an early breeding season. I don't know what to tell you on there. I think there could be a multitude of different options of why they're seeing this, but the strutters are in the fields. Whether or not you can pull them away or if they're with hens, that's another thing. But my advice would be why they're in the fields, or if you get out there early, locate them with your locator calls, your hooters, and your crow calls. Try and set up, like we mentioned in previous weeks, in between where you think they're roosting and that field or that food source that they're going to.
And on to that, if you're not hearing them gobble, you don't want to get out there with a turkey call. You want to get out there, like you said, with your locator calls, your hooters, and your crow calls, and you don't want to spook these birds yet.
Yep. So some more feedback that we got in Louisiana. Again, real vocal in the roost, but once they come down, they're pretty quiet. Some key points that I would point out that I would do in those circumstances is locate early and set up in between the food source and where they're roosting. And I would call sparingly, pique those towns' interest. But if they are not being vocal and responding to your calls, they might still be coming, but you don't know where they're at. So they could be coming within 10, 15 yards, silent,
Coming in quiet.
and you go to call again or hit it aggressively, and you're going to spook them birds out. So use it sparingly, but a lot like a grunt call.
Right.
Well, does that send us over to Alabama?
No, I think I got some more feedback from Mississippi.
All right.
Damon
We
Blakely.
got a bird down in Mississippi.
Damon Blakely's been super active in the strut report. Killed a bird. You know, I'd like to think that
Yeah.
that some of the feedback he's been getting and communication back and forth from the strut report helped him kill a bird this week. So congratulations.
And I think we have a picture of that.
Yeah, let's see what we got here. Damon. Right here. Here's a picture of Damon.
Good bird.
Yes, sir. Beautiful bird.
Great Mississippi bird there.
Good job, buddy.
So congratulations to Damon. Some feedback that we got was that people are starting to see hens out by themselves in the field, which leads me to believe that in Mississippi those hens are ready to breed, and those toms are going to be out there looking for them. So it kind of contradicts some of the other feedback that we thought maybe it was had an early breeding season. But maybe it's actually the fact that we're just getting into it now, so you're going to start seeing those hens by themselves and toms starting to chase. So
Eric Krogman just commented from Kentucky that their youth season opens up tomorrow. He's gonna have 3 kids out in the field chasing turkeys with him. That ought to be fun. He said his boys doubled last year, and this will be his little girl's first year to go after a bird. So he's gonna have some fun.
That's awesome.
sounds like you're going to need one of our 12-foot ground blinds to hide all
Yeah.
the kids behind.
You're going to have a party of people out there, man. That's going to be a good time.
Best of luck to
That's
you.
awesome. All right, so down to Alabama and the Georgia area. So in central Alabama, they're saying they're gobbling like crazy on the roost and then shut up by 7:30 a.m. once they're on the ground. So get out there, try some midday hunting, try some different stuff. If you don't hear them in the morning, don't give up. Try midday, try late evening, and see if you can't get a gobbler on the ground. Last weekend near Ackerville, Camden, Alabama area, my brother Brandon and his good friend Reeve got out there and had 3 longbeards come in about 70 yards out and couldn't get them to close the distance.
Man.
And just some stubborn birds, but down there they are vocal and they are fired up. So hopefully we can get one on the ground soon.
Buford Norval's saying North Carolina's youth season opens tomorrow also, so there'll be some young ones getting out of some birds again.
Cool. Good luck out there.
Can't wait to see the success.
Yeah.
So Alabama's full blown strutting and is fired up. North Georgia, kind of the same thing. Glenn Whittington harvested a bird, #1 of the season this past weekend. And I think we actually have a picture of that. It was on public land. It was 11-inch beard and 1-inch spurs.
Congrats, Glenn. That's a beautiful bird, especially on public land.
Glenn said he gobbled on his own off the roost and 3 times on his way in. Heard a lot more birds gobbling over the weekend as well. So, yeah, congratulations, Glenn.
Sounds like he's on something.
Also in North Georgia, Jeff Tyner also took a great public land bird last weekend. Gobbled good on the limb, then shut up once on the ground. So, sounds like these birds are, you gotta be quiet sometimes. We made the mistake in North Georgia last weekend of probably calling too much. Sometimes, a lot of times, you can have a bird just come in real silent, and you just gotta be patient with it.
That's right.
Josh Dubois just commented that he's seen quite a few birds in North Carolina strutting, and he'll be taking his nephew out for the youth day tomorrow. So good luck to your nephew, Joshua.
Great. Does that wrap it up for Georgia?
It does.
Okay, good deal. Well, I'll take us on through to South Carolina then. We've got a lot of birds here that I'm going to mention here that actually went down. So why don't you start teeing up some photos for us here, Sean? So South Carolina, Timmy Mahaffey harvested a couple great birds. So
Yeah, young guy, doubling up.
sounds like there's some birds hitting the ground in South Carolina.
That is awesome.
Great job.
Yeah,
That's
great
awesome.
birds, great birds.
And then we also had Joey Yusko. I apologize for butchering your name there. I harvested a bird in the low country of South Carolina, and that's interesting. That's actually the same area that our buddy Steve Cobb was hunting at last week and was able to harvest some birds.
And he also mentioned, birds are in the low country.
Right. Yep. So Joey, he was able to get it down there, and congrats. Sounds like things are happening in South Carolina, Georgia, Alabama, really that corner of the southeast.
So Eric, who just commented earlier that he's taking his 2 boys and his daughter out tomorrow, said thanks for the shout out, and that his boys, all the birds his boys have killed, he's been using the Undertaker choke tube. So
awesome.
There you go.
Awesome. There you go. There's a testament to getting the job done right there with the chokes. So, like I said, sounds like in the southeast things are rolling, and that goes the same thing for Florida, guys. Central Florida, HS field staffer William Sullivan. How's it going out there, William? He says birds are gobbling real hard the past couple days. He called in a great Osceola for a gentleman he knows from West Virginia earlier this week. I believe we got a picture of that one. Sounds like William Sullivan on there. See if you can find it.
Oh, yeah, down here on the bottom.
There you go.
He has a great beard.
Great pick.
I don't think we got pictures of it, but if you guys have been following our HS Strut and HS page, Ralph and Vicky both killed.
Oh no, we've got some pictures.
We've got them pictures there too. Yep.
All right.
Yeah, Ralph and
Yep.
Vicky were down at Osceola Outfitters this weekend. I believe Ralph and Vicky both got birds, and I believe RJ was up next. I don't know if he's got one yet or not. There's Ralph's.
Another family affair.
Yeah. Yep.
It's always fun when you can get out there with your significant other and get a bird.
That's right. He's sharing the experience. There's
There's
Vicky.
Vicky right here.
There's Vicky's.
Great bird, Vicky. Good to see. And I know they go down and hunt with Osceola Outfitters every year, so this is a good tradition for them. So it sounds like Florida things are happening. Like I said, got William Sullivan said they're gobbling hard in North Florida, and he actually this morning mentioned he was able to cross the line down in South Georgia, and hearing some gobbles there too. So appreciate the feedback from Florida, Ralph and Vicky, William. Hopefully things can continue on that way throughout the season. So that kind of concludes our summary of everything that's been going on here in the past week. Some seasons are starting to break open here for the next week. Just kind of looking at the map here. Looks like Arkansas here within about 10 days or so is going to open up. A couple more states on the eastern side over there. Kentucky is early April, so things are starting to open up real soon, and we look forward to seeing more engagement throughout the country as these other states start to open up, rather than just the Southeast. Because really, as we look at the number of comments and engagement we're getting on our Strut Report here, the Southeast is really kicking butt. But that makes sense because that's where
The season's already started and getting going. Yeah.
Right. So it makes sense to us, but like Blake mentioned before, we challenge you guys up in the Northwest and the Mountain West to tell us what you're seeing out there. Just try and get in the field and do some scouting if you can, and let us know what you're seeing out there.
Yeah, it looks like we got a few opening this weekend. So
That's right. So
It sounds like it's gonna be a lot of young guns getting out there after on
Yeah,
youth
that's
season.
right. Love to see those
Should be fun.
those pictures, those youth hunters with birds on the ground, or at least hopefully at least get an experience with a gobbler coming in. Even if you don't get the job done, it's still a great experience. for them.
absolutely.
So Blake, who's our winner this week of their choice of a turkey call and a HS hat?
Absolutely. So he killed a bird this week, and he's been, like I said, super active. So he's had his name in the hat at least every week.
That's right.
We've been doing the Strut Report,
That's
and,
right.
and it's finally paid off. So congratulations, Damon Blakely. Give us a holler on Facebook. Shoot us a message with your choice of call and HS Strut hat, and we'll get that out to you.
That's right. Reach out to us, and we'll be able to get that out to you. One thing that I'd like to mention is as people are on here commenting and telling us what you're seeing here, make sure you tell us where you're at, what part of the country you're at, so we can put you in the proper area of the country. We love hearing the feedback, but if you don't tell us what state you're in or something like that, we really don't know where that's happening at. So just something to keep in mind for future reports. But guys, it's been fun.
You want to run through where the regions are at in the standing?
Sure. Let's go into more specifics there. Good idea. Like I jump ahead of things sometimes. You have to
So this will really tell you how far ahead the Southeast and Great Lakes is keeping up.
Mm-hmm.
But
Right.
but when you reads out the Northwest and Mountain West, then go ahead, Tony.
Okay. Well, as we said last week, at the end of the season, somebody from the region that has the most engagement is going to be chosen to win a fully loaded chest pack, and that'll be something you'll have in your arsenal for next year, and you'll be able to get after them with. So, Northwest right now, of all 3 weeks, we've got one comment. So Northwest, you're really gonna have to pick up the pace. Mountain West, you doubled it with 2. Congratulations. Southwest, we've got 7 comments. Mid-East, 9. And now it really starts stepping up. The Great Lakes and Midwest region, you've got 30 comments. Nice job. We appreciate all the engagement there.
For not a lot of seasons being open.
Really. So it
Yeah,
sounds
it
like
shows a lot of guys are taking their scouting seriously.
that's right. Sounds like there's a lot of passionate
So once
hunters.
season gets going up there, they could very well give Southeast a run.
That's right. That just goes to show you that guys up there, not only are they concerned just about this, but they also like to get out and get them some turkeys in the spring as well. So awesome job in the Midwest region. And then really doubling that in the Southeast region. You know, that's where a lot of the seasons have started now. We've got 60 comments in the Southeast region. So Southeast is really taking off, but we expect as seasons go on and more seasons open to start seeing that pick up throughout the year. So
Absolutely. In addition to our weekly.
exactly. So thanks for joining in with us this week, everyone. Be sure to engage with us and let us know what you're seeing next week, and we'll be right back with you next week, Friday, 1 p.m. Eastern, right here, Hunter Specialties, HS Strut,
Week
Facebook
4.
Live for the Week 4 Strut Report. Thanks, and we'll see you next week.